Hi everyone, good morning or good evening if you're in the States, and thanks for joining the Flippa Business Owner webinar today. We're going to kick off now. I'm just going to give an introduction of the 3 e-commerce stores that we have presenting today. The second business that we have presenting is an e-commerce store that's operating in the home and garden sector. The owner of the business is Sukru Tunka. It is a 3-year-old store selling bathroom vanity sets and taps via its website. The business also supplies a number of other dropshipping sites with stock, and this website has been awarded a Best of House award, lending to credibility with customers. The final business that we have on today is being represented by a broker from digital acquisitions called John Garrett. This is also an e-commerce store, and it's an 18-year-old B2B e-commerce store selling electronics and equipment. The business consists of 2 websites and an Amazon store. It's got very strong domain authority, and it has also been SBA loan approved. Now, I will hand you over to our Flippa CEO, Blake Hutchinson, who will give you a quick note and an update on what Flippa's been up to, and then we will start with Craft & Oak's presentation.
Thank you very much, Holly, and thank you everyone for joining us today. In particular, thank you so much to our business owners and also our representative broker on the phone, Pai, Sukru and John. Thank you very much for making the time today. Our business owner webinars have proved successful. This is our 3rd one, and we're getting huge amounts of inquiries both during the sessions but also after. These sessions get posted to YouTube, and as a result, we've got a huge audience that is responding, listening in, responding, and then ultimately driving inquiries to these business owners. So thank you so much for your engagement. As it relates to Flippa, just a very, very quick update. July was a sensational month with over 4,500 new business and website listings published live to the site and obviously for sale on flippa.com. And in addition, there is huge amounts of buyer demand in the broader ecosystem right now, with over 5,000 new buyers registering on Flippa in the month of July, which is a fantastic result and just is evidence of the extraordinary demand out there right now for this fantastic asset class. Looking forward to the webinar, looking forward to some great questions. If at any time you've got a question, feel free to drop into the Q&A box in the middle of your page there on the Zoom webinar. Drop in a question, and we'll obviously answer that over the course of the next over the course of the next 30 minutes. Thank you once again, and handing back to Holly.
Hi everyone, my name is Sukru. I'm going to present to you my business for sale on Flippa. I joined this webinar literally at the last second, so I'm sorry if I'm missing any important details. If you have any questions, you can either ask at the end of my presentation or feel free to send an email. So a little bit background of the business. This is an e-commerce company selling modern designer bathroom vanities, faucets, and accessories in the US and Canada. We are located in South Florida, Miami. And the business have been here for the past 3 years. The business have strong brands. These are all trademarks. We have 3 trademarks for the business for US and Canada. It has strong presence online and in the communities. The business also have a strong dropshipper relationship with Wayfair. We are part of their white label promotion. And they sell their product line from our, they sell their own brand from our products. And we also have a strong community involvement on Houzz, especially the pros, the contractors, and also architects are preferring us and talking about our products in Houzz. I call this a lean business because this is basically owned and operated by me. I don't have any employees. The warehousing and fulfillment have been done by a third-party logistics company ever since the start until June. In June, I had to move up north for my other business, my main business, so I have my own warehouse now. So I added a little bit about the P&L over here. The gross income for the past year was about $103,000. After the cost of goods sold and the shipping fees, the gross profit was $62,000. Mainly the operating expenses have been the warehousing, fulfillment, and the advertising fees. All the other operational expenses have been minimal. And after all of this, the net income is about $43,000 for the past year. So how does this business make money? Mainly using 3 channels. We have a Shopify website that generates bulk of our revenue. I put the dashboard from the Shopify website over there for $110,000 from July until April 2019. Wayfair have been exponentially growing for the past year, and Houzz has been steady. We have been out of stock for the products that are mainly selling on Houzz for a while. Instead of ordering a product, I decided to sell the business. That's the reason there's some decline over there. But the main difference between Wayfair and Houzz for us is Houzz is mostly professionals as a profession. Wayfair is usually the end users. On Houzz, we received an award for client satisfaction. We have over 1,000 idea book saves for certain products. This means we're ranking higher than the competitors organically. Whenever a customer is searching the relevant products, ours come up on the first or second page. We have high community involvement over on Houzz. And as I mentioned, on the Wayfair, we have increasing sales for the past year. So opportunities for the prospective buyer. This is the highly scalable business model. We have been only selling bathroom vanities and faucets and traps, but this can be scaled up to other bathroom-related products, bathroom accessories, toilets, bathtubs, even home textile related to bathroom can scale up with adding all those different products. Now we have established sales channels, especially on Wayfair and Houzz. Wayfair takes care of almost everything from shipping to return. The only thing we need to do is the fulfillments. And I also have a list for dropshippers and resellers. Now, since I don't have much time because of my focus on my main business, I didn't utilize this, but I have a lot of dropshippers and resellers that are contacting to resell the products. Opportunities for the improvement, definitely SEO, and no SEO work has ever been done. So publishing relevant content about bathroom design, renovation is definitely going to improve this, focusing on keyword phrases, content regularly. Other than that, Google Ads. Since the beginning of this year, I have not done almost any Google Ads. This is basically on autopilot ever since the beginning of the year. So focusing on Google Ads and marketing is definitely going to improve the sales. The Shopify side, I never updated the site ever since the beginning. It's still using the same thing ever since it was launched. The general content has been the same. And also, as I mentioned, working with the dropshippers and resellers with the list that I have. Frequently asked questions. Why are you selling the business? My growing focus on my main business is related to building projects here in South Florida and real estate. That's the reason I'm selling this business. That's mainly an offline business. Where do you store your products and who handles fulfillment? I store the products in a warehouse in Miami. Ever since the beginning, I use 2 different third-party logistic companies. Those are small family-owned companies. So they got me a great deal, a fixed rate monthly. If I was to go over a certain amount of fulfillment, they would be charging me extra. But this has been very beneficial for me. How much inventory do you typically stock? I usually stock at least a 1 container worth of merchandise. Do you sell outside the country or just US? I only sell in the United States, and we have a program with Wayfair that we sell to Canada. Where's Wayfair sales including the P&L statement? So Wayfair and Houzz, they have different payment systems. Wayfair just sends their credit card and you just charge them. So in order to make it easier for me, I included those under the Shopify. So I integrated their payment system to Shopify. So those are included under the Shopify sales. You have consistent high revenue when it charged on November and April. Why? So I was out of stock for certain items on those dates, and since April I'm out of stock for the bestseller items, and instead now I'm selling the business. That's the reason why there's a drop in November and April. So this is it. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Thanks very much for the presentation, Sukru. Really interesting business and fantastic to see a niche business like this getting such demand, and congratulations on the Houzz Award. Such an awesome community there to be a part of. A couple of questions that have come through via email at this stage. Can you just talk through the supply chain again? So I appreciate that Wayfair is handling shipping and returns should that be required, but just end to end. So product is manufactured where, and then what happens after that?
That's a great question. I have 3 separate manufacturers, 2 of them in China, 1 in Turkey. I usually order container loads worth of merchandise, and it's when the shipment comes in, they're offloaded into the warehouse and then palletized. And if there's an order comes in, if I'm doing it on Shopify, what I would do is I have contacts with logistic companies. I go through them, I receive the code to ship, and as soon as I have the bill of lading, I give it to the third-party logistic company, and they have their barcodes on the certain boxes. Typically, a shipment includes 3 boxes: the cabinet, the wash basin, and the mirror. They shrink wrap it, palletize it, and then they ship it to the customer. The only difference with Wayfair is they handle that logistical part for the bill of lading and everything. They prepare it for me. So it goes to the third-party logistics company instead of me doing it.
Thank you very much for the detailed answer, Sukru. Understood now. Quick question related to the location of the business. You mentioned that you're located in Miami. Obviously, you've got these relationships set up both in China and Turkey from a manufacturing standpoint, and then the supply chain continues all across the US. Does the owner, what do you think the dependencies are on Miami, if anything? Does the owner need to operate from Miami?
There is absolutely no dependency. I only had a few local customers. Most of my customers are actually either West Coast or Midwest. I have a lot of customers from New York as well. So there is no location dependency at all. It all depends on the preference. I prefer here because of the weather and proximity to the port of Miami. So if anybody would like to operate this out of anywhere in the US, they can do that. They can just transfer to their warehouse or the third-party logistics company that they work with. It can work very well as well.
Thank you. And just a little bit more about the customer. You mentioned that the average customer on the Houzz platform is more likely to be trade focused. So it could be a builder, it could be a tradesperson. And Wayfair, I understand, is more end consumer, so maybe a home renovator or something like that. What is the, just go through that a little bit more and give us some sense of what the breakdown is of sales, if that's okay.
Sure. So the customer base on Houzz actually evolved organically. We didn't do anything. It's just that we listed the same products. It is just that certain items took better, preferred by the builders, professionals. Typically what they order is either 2 items in one shipment. The only difference between retailer and a pro, and they usually prefer larger size items for their building project and renovations. So that's basically the two differences. And of course, the word of mouth goes quickly within the builders and professional community on Houzz. So that's the other benefit for the sales.
Yeah, thank you. That makes sense. And what goes into managing the respective communities? Obviously, when house inquiries come in, you've got their marketplace environment there, and you've got to respond. But you've got some engagement. So, what is the time actually spent managing the house community specifically?
Oh no, the house community, they actually only ask a question about the product, usually the details about the product. That's the only thing I need to do to answer them under either the product or whatever they're talking about my product. Other than that, they're just posting out what they like about the product, what they don't like about the product, what they would want to have the difference. That's another thing I forgot to mention. So I made some changes for a certain product that they wanted to have a different style handle. So I asked my manufacturer if they can do that, because this is the general feedback we received. And the next shipment, that was updated. So that's another third thing that we did on Houzz.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for that, Sucru. Great answers there and a great presentation. We'll hand over now to our final presenter today, who is a broker from Digital Acquisitions representing an e-commerce store in the electronics category. So John Garudi, I'll hand over to you now if you could share your screen, and Sucru, if you could just mute. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, is that coming through?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, thank you, Blake and Holly, for the opportunity. Yes, this is John with Digital Acquisitions. I am also here with Tyler, the owner of this e-commerce store. So I'm going to run us through the presentation, and then Tyler will happily answer anybody's questions. So about this store, it is an omni-channel, sales coming through both Amazon and the website. This is a home-based business in the Pacific Northwest USA. It is 18 years old, started originally in 2001. So this store, it does have a diversified mix. It's both dropship and OEM products. Great reviews for both the store and the individual products. I got a little snapshot here on the right of the lifetime reviews for the Amazon store, so it is flawless. So the products, just to give you a little more detail there, all electronics, PTZ cameras, joysticks, cables, essentially all the hardware you need to stream a live event. So an example, one niche the store does very well in is called the house of worship. So when there's a sermon, the minister, he'll not only be presenting to the audience, but streaming it to the audience of the church or whatever it may be. So again, yeah, everything you need to stream a live event. So sales-wise, trailing 12-month through May of this year was 1.16 million. Again, there's a good blend of sales coming in through Amazon and through the store. The store is on the Miva platform. So right now it's roughly a 60% to 40% split. And just to note, there are some sales that do come in through the phone, purchase and mail orders and wire transfers. So that roughly comes out to about $1,000 a month. So just something to keep in mind. So just some FAQ here now. Our asking price is $639K plus sellable inventory. That represents a 2.8 times multiple on the annual seller's discretionary earnings. So this business has been SBA approved. Why Tyler is selling the business, and this is a direct quote from him. I felt like this was the time to make a change in my life, and I'm ready for a new experience with new challenges. Tyler also purchased a unrelated e-commerce business late 2017, and that's what he wants to focus on moving forward. So one of the best features of the store, there's some incredible opportunities. Number one, updating the website to perhaps a more modern platform such as Shopify or BigCommerce, putting in some SEO work. There's never really been any direct focus on SEO and ranking. Again, next point would be Google Ads optimization. This is one thing, again, that really was never focused on. So there's certainly a lot that can be driven there. Next would be more OEM products. The OEM products do really well on Amazon. And in general, they have a much better margin than the branded products that are sold through the store. So Tyler does have some incredible relationships with his suppliers. And a new owner would certainly be able to leverage those relationships and build out the OEM product line. Additionally, we have an email newsletter that has been untapped since 2015. So plenty of room there to continue to grow that and try to get back some sales from former past customers. And again, niche expansion. We did kind of hit on one niche, the house of worship, but we think there's ample opportunity to serve various other niches with the hardware to live stream their events. So the average value of inventory, Tyler always has at least about 50K on hand. Most of that will be stored at Amazon, FBA. However, he does keep inventory at his house, which he does ship himself, depending on the orders. In terms of staff needed to run this business, right now it is Tyler and his wife combined, no staff, and at max per week, they're combined putting in about 45 hours. In terms of purchasing this business outside the USA, it is possible. You will need to figure out where you're going to store that additional inventory. So there will be that added expense. And of course, you cannot take an SBA loan out as if you're international. So you'll need cash or your own means to finance the business purchase. SKUs on Amazon, there are 38 in FBA and 250 via FBM. Some are drop shipped directly from Tyler's suppliers. And in terms of a transition plan, Tyler he does want to see the new owner succeed and take care of this business that he's worked on for the past 18 years. So we are happy to be flexible on a transition plan. So yeah, that's it for the presentation. Let's get Tyler on here to answer everybody's questions.
Thank you very much, John, and congratulations on building a great business, Tyler. Very quick question to start off here. What is the percentage of sales Amazon versus direct?
Yeah, it roughly, it's about 60-40% roughly. The Amazon part of the business has been growing. So it's actually increased over the past couple of years. But right now, that's about the split we're looking at.
Amazon?
Pardon me?
60% Amazon and 40% direct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. And there was mention of the suppliers there and the strength of the relationship. Could you just talk a little bit more about how many suppliers there are and I guess any dependency on those suppliers for the product that you're providing? What's the nature of the relationships and the contracts in place?
Sure. So as John mentioned, there's a combination of both dropship products from that we're a reseller for, as well as OEM products that we have manufactured for us. So the number of suppliers that we have manufacturing for us is just about 3. So we keep it small, and we have a good relationship with those vendors. And there are several opportunities to add additional products from those existing suppliers, as well as, of course, you could always look to other suppliers. And in terms of the The dropship products, there's probably, you know, off the top of my head, roughly 10 main suppliers that we deal with, and you know, there's no real contracts needed to be in place. We have, you know, we've just your regular reseller agreements and that sort of thing. So nothing that can't be transferred to a new buyer.
And where are those suppliers based?
Our OEM products are currently manufactured in China, and then our other suppliers are all US based.
Okay, great. And you're obviously selling now. It's been a relatively long journey. How has the business performed over the 18-year history? Is it relatively stable? Has it been growing over the last 12 to 18 months? Could you talk us through that a little bit?
Sure. Well, you're right. It's been a long journey. It's been a great journey. I started this with my wife and with no capital, and built it, you know, from no sales up to where we are. And so it's grown a lot over the years. And it definitely plateaued out over the last 5 years or so. And as John mentioned, I bought a new business in 2017, and at the time it was very small business, and I thought, hey, this is something I could just do on the side for fun. And it actually grew faster than I thought it would, and I quickly realized it's just taking too much on my plate to handle. And it's a lot to operate, you know, two businesses in terms of just an owner-operator type of situation. So yeah, I had to make a choice, and the allure of a real small, fast-growing one is just, at this point in my life, I just was ready for a new challenge after having my old business for so long. So I made the decision to put up the business for sale.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you for that detail. The reality is, after 18 years, you deserve a break. Just a very quick one on Amazon versus direct. How do the margins differ between the two channels? Are you getting stronger margins when you sell direct? I imagine that's the case.
Well, sure. I mean, the margin is the same, but the fees, you know, for selling on Amazon will cut into your profits. So there is that additional cost on Amazon's selling fees. But really, where the difference comes into play on margins is OEM products versus products we're reselling. And there is a big difference there. You know, with the standard margins in electronics business, when you're reselling someone else's product, is usually in the 15 to 25% in that range. On products that we're OEMing, it's anywhere from 60 to 100, 150% margin. So that's definitely an area I was interested in growing, and we only started that part of the business maybe 4 years ago or so. So it's relatively new, but it's been exciting to see those types of margins come through.
Yeah, that's fantastic transition. So just on that, what is the breakdown percentage sales wise, OEM versus dropshipping?
That's a good question, and I don't have it off the top of my head, and I don't want to put out a figure that's not correct. I'm happy to get that info for anyone who wants to follow up with John with digital acquisitions after this webinar. I can get that information for them.
Yeah, no problem at all. We'll take the question on notice and come back to the buyer specifically and any other buyers that did ask that question. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Perfect. So I think that we will probably leave it at there for today. If anyone has any other questions that you think of after the webinar, you can email myself directly at marketing@flippa.com. I will pass your questions on to the sellers, and we'll also have a recording of the webinar. A massive thank you to all of our business owners and also our brokers, excuse me, on the call who presented today, and especially to our buyers who've all tuned in to watch it. Thanks so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening.